Welcome to the DevReady Podcast. Joining me on the DevReady Podcast today, I have Des Hague. For those of you listening for the first time or don't know how I do this, I haven't met Des before, so we're learning about him for the first time. So I'll let him take it away and introduce himself. Once again, thanks for joining me, Des.
Oh, it's great, Anthony. Thank you. I'm Des Hague. I'm 9-time CEO. I've had many tours of duty. I've ran large multi-billion-dollar companies like IHOP, the world's largest family restaurant chain. I've ran fresh food for 7-Eleven in tens of thousands of locations. I've also ran the largest event hospitality company in North America, Centerplate. And I've just had a great time in different businesses. If it's Maytag, I'm going to forget some of the businesses I really love, like Maytag, like launching the Turbo Chef oven. I know, Anthony, you're from Melbourne, but down there, I know you've got Starbucks and other coffee shops. Yep. When you go in there and you get your pastry warmed up in that little oven, that was one of the ovens that I had the pleasure of launching with some much brighter people than me. But it's now a $1 billion brand. It's just awesome to see. And it started from one garage in Dallas. And then it's now a global phenomenon. So, I ran businesses. I'm now got my own organization where I invest in different companies. I only usually invest in companies that I can add value to, or I know the business. I'm not one of those guys who thinks he can learn everything. I want to stick to the things that I know the best and add value.
Yep.
A pleasure to be on the show, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. What you said there about investing in companies where you can add value, that's how I see the industry. That's probably the best way to be a part of another startup if you're getting in at the early stages as well. Because if you're going to invest, it's not just for the sake of having a return. It's to try and meet great people and then have the return and be able to provide value to get them in the direction they're going, not just throw money at them and disappear, because that doesn't serve them really.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me, I think over the last 10 years, I've had the pleasure of working with maybe 75 to 100 founders. And the founders that I love are the ones that want to listen and want to learn and want to absorb, who haven't got all the answers, but will work very, very hard. I love I don't want to get away from this. I think there's a learning that we all can have here about founding and setting great businesses up. And that is, you've got to know that the price is hard work, Anthony. And I feel that sometimes we want to skip the hard work and get to dessert. But I love what Sam Walton had to say about the business. He said, I'll never give anybody my list of how to be successful if they don't first realize that hard work is the essential foundational thing. If they don't know that, I won't give them my list. And then and then the second comment would be from a former president, Barack Obama, where he said, our kids need to learn how to do shit, how to do things. And I think those two things, with conviction and courage and great ideas and brains, can make a lot of things possible.
And I think there's a pervasive look on the internet at the moment where if you're a startup founder, it's all success and it's like an overnight thing. And then that's really the smallest percentage of people that go through the whole process.
Yeah. I think about it like this. People say, oh, Des, you're successful. You've run all these companies. I was tolling for 20 years in restaurants and doing stuff. So I was ready when my opportunities came. That's the thing. It's like an overnight success story is 10 years in the making. And at times, Anthony, as you know, it feels like it's overnight, but it's not. It's about hard work and just getting stuff done.
It is. I think the most famous quote I think I remember that is from Lionel Messi when he first signed on as a 17-year-old. Everyone called him an overnight success. He's like, he was 14 years in the making.
Too right. And, and the thing about success, and I think this is really true, it's about managing adversity. Because I got to tell you, through my career of launching Turbo Chef and managing many, many companies, many times in every single company, there was opportunity for a complete implosion, for complete negative, just drain and go away. And it's those mental moments that you have to say, you know what? We're going to get through it. We've got to work hard. We've got to work smart, but this is not easy. Put the work in. People say you got to do 10,000 hours before you can really say you're a professional. That should be everything. We've got this image that, and I'm not being critical of social media, I'm on it a lot myself, but it's not about 15 minutes of fame. Making it. It's like Lionel Messi. It's 20 years of, 10 years of soccer, playing from when he was 3 to 17. Ronaldo, the same. David Beckham, the same. Roger Federer, my favorite tennis player of all time, has a great quote that I quote in my second book, Think Your Way to the Top. There's no getting around the hard work. You got to embrace the hard work. I don't want to feel like I'm a curmudgeon, but that's the central piece. It's like, you got to put the time in.
I completely agree with you. If it's easy, everyone would be doing it. That's the thing.
That's a mic drop. I'm dropping the pen there, Anthony. I completely agree. End of episode.
Yeah, it's people. Yeah, I think there's a pocket of people that think they're entitled to more than what they deserve, and then there's people who don't see the opportunities or don't know how to commit to putting in the hard work to get to that level.
Well, I think we also we're coddling people, if you don't want to, I say this, people don't like my lifestyle of working and being, on and driving. That's fine. It's not for everybody, but don't think you can get to the pinnacle on just sheer wanting to do it. Effort, motivation, ability, even the raw ability has to be harnessed. You have to have this ability to say, you know what? Never stop learning. How do you embrace that? If you embrace it, you're going to go places. If you don't believe in learning, nobody can help you.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. So my time at uni, so I did computer science and games programming. So I wanted to be a games programmer initially. I haven't gone down that path, but the biggest thing I learned from uni was how to learn.
Yep.
Because you had to be autonomous. You had to do everything on your own. So I've had that forever. I've always wanted to know how things work. So I'm always trying to learn things.
No, and I love that, Anthony, because, ultimately, I think we've all done ourselves a disservice, particularly in the last 20, maybe 30 years. And that is our universities and colleges and schools. We've gone to a point where we're telling them not how to think, but what to think. And I think the great leaders today understand how to think. I don't need to be told what to think. I don't need to be, what's the issue? I get informed, I get the information, and then I make my own choices. But that's a great thing. It's that ability to think for yourself. And that is a disservice to a lot of kids who say, I want to work a 3-day week. I don't really care if you work a 1-day week. You got to make sure you've got the output of a 5-day week. It's like, I'm not going to be managing the clock saying, oh, it's 10 o'clock, where are you? Oh, it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't really care. I want you to get the job done and do it brilliantly. And if you can do it in an hour, you're a genius. Thank you. Maybe teach everybody else to do it in an hour, but that's going to be very hard to do. But it's about how do you apply yourself and how do you turn up? How do you turn up for life?
Yeah, there's that other quote I think you've probably heard as well. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if you don't apply yourself anywhere, then you're not going to apply yourself to anything.
And I always say, even the most remedial jobs that I've had, you learn something from it. And you look back in life and say, do you know what? When I was in my family's fish and chip shop, and one of my family members got me scrubbing the tiles with a toothbrush, which they did every Friday and Saturday, it learnt me about cleanliness and what a customer should expect. And it's about, doing the crappy jobs, if you like, to the best of your ability.
And I have a similar experience. I used to work at a supermarket in the fresh produce section here. That was my part-time job. And I did that for 9 years. And that taught me how to have like a customer voice. So you speak to a customer, you're a bit different than when you're in the back. There's work that just has to be done, whether you want to do it or not. It just has to get done. The fruit has to get put out. Yep. The pellets have to get unpacked.
And never criticize the grocery business, Anthony, because I was the president of Safeway, which was the third largest retailer, grocer in North America. So we had 1,600 locations. I had 200,000 employees, and I love that business. That got you. It's about forward facing, and it's about always every day's you're filling the shelves. You're doing things repetitive, but you're doing things at a level of excellence that's going to set you well up for life. So
Yeah,
I'm
you have
glad
to.
I even like you more now because you're in my produce department. Was it
Yeah,
Woolworths?
it was
Where
Coles,
Coles?
the
Okay,
competitor.
I know them well.
Yes, it was 9 years. I was just a casual for 9 years, but I would get 50 hours a week
Great.
when I was at uni. So I would be on a full time wage while I was at uni doing part time casual work. But it was, yeah, very repetitive. It was boring, but you just had to do it and you had to do it properly. Otherwise, you wouldn't get called back in. You wouldn't get more work.
Right.
And then, yeah, you have to deal with customers. You have to be polite and cordial to them. And then, all right, if you're sweeping the floors, that's the brain numbing job. Yeah, you can just do that with and then think about other things. But it
I
still
used
has
to
to be
love
done. It still
those
has to be clean.
electric cleaners. I used to be up and down because I want to know I have to do every role. So even as the
Yep.
president, I would get in and show that I wanted to work on the front lines too. It was great.
So you've sounds like you've had a very like vast career in different aspects. So you've gone from retail and then food, service industry, launching products and brands. What's a standout from all of those? What's been your favorite?
Do you know, it's really funny because I don't want to sound like I'm a politician here because I love 7-Eleven and
I love
Safeway
it.
and IHOP and Maytag and Viper, which was a retail analytics AI
Okay.
diagnostic company. I'm on the board of Morgine. I'm on the board of 5 companies right now. I've got my own thinking academy. And I will tell you that I just love business. And it comes down to me, what I like about each business, because it doesn't matter what you sell, doesn't matter, is it a $28 billion company or is it a $1 million company or $1,000 a month company? It all comes down to really the same things. And I look at it like this. It's 4 steps. And I was blessed to work in PepsiCo, who really helped me think about this. They had this mantra about bigger, fewer, better. You can't boil the ocean. You've got to focus on what you really want to do well. And so for all the businesses, yeah, it's sexy to have Turbo Chef and putting it into McDonald's and Starbucks and Safeway and just getting Subway was the first 500 stores in Puerto Rico, massive launch. When I was told we'd never have more than 3 machines, suddenly we're all over. Or, you go to Centerplate and we go from $600 million in sales to $6 billion in 3 years. That's amazing. But comes down to the same things for me, Anthony. It starts with you got to have the right talent. So my obsession in business is always the talent.
Yep.
If the talent's there, we can make a good thing great. We can make a great thing exceptional. It's hard, to make a dud great, but you can pivot and do something else. But if you've got the right to me, business is really into 4 pieces. Talent will do one thing. It'll get you the great service, the great product, the great, systems that you need. So talent gets you service. What does the right product and service does? Drives sales. What does the right sales do? Drives profit. So it's about the branding, the storytelling. So I haven't got a favorite. I don't want my former franchisees from 7-Eleven beating me up or, my club owners of Centerplate or whatever, or Safeway. They're all great, and they really are. It's about how do you make them better? And it's always about the people first, and that's what we always miss. The customer is king, but the people are first. Without the people, without the customer, you haven't got the people. But really, to me, it's like what Richard Branson says of Virgin. You obsess with your people and you will never go wrong. And I get in there and I train them and I fund them, even in difficult times. I double down in the recession times because they will never leave.
Yep. If you're loyal to them and they support
Absolutely.
you, you're loyal
They
back.
can go anywhere, but they choose to be with you. There's a difference.
Yeah, and we've had people in our team that have been with us for 12 years out of our 17.
Fantastic.
So they're staying with us. We're doing something right. I don't know what that is, but they're bought into our journey and how we do things. But it is about the people, because if you haven't got the right support, even as a business owner, you need the support underneath you. You can't do everything. As much as you want to ride that cleaner, you can only do that once. You won't be doing that every day.
Yeah, and I think when I think about it, Anthony, about if I was laying it down on how do you drive success, I think we've already said it's hard work, and that means you do whatever it takes. So you drive in, I've gone to Tokyo for a 1-hour meeting. when I lived in Dallas. I've gone to Alaska. I've flown back from New York to LA on a daily basis, on a weekly basis for years. Meeting, come back. This is before Zoom. This is before COVID.
When you had to.
You got to do whatever it takes. Then if you never stop learning, you're always going to learn something new. You're always going to be evolving. It's like, I'm so sad when I see somebody who's had 30 years in business, but really has done 1 year and repeated it 30 times.
Oh, okay.
Never really evolved. And then the other thing about, you think about talent, and it's not just having about talent, it's about the right environment for the talent to flourish. And I've always appreciated self-deprecation. I think if you can lead with laughter, and many people can't. It's not like a Saturday night skit. We're not having a comedy show. It's serious business, but have some fun with it. And it's, you get better bonuses. It proves out you get 20, 30% more productivity. Your turnover's down 60 odd percent. There's so many hard measures why you should lead with laughter, but I wish more people did. Particularly in these, tense political times. It's like, why do you take yourself so serious? I'm not, I'm selling ovens, or I'm selling a spreadsheet or a small business data application. I'm not curing cancer. I'm not, eradicating poverty, even though we think we can lift many up. And we've actually dedicated $100 million to different charities through our philanthropic efforts. So we care about helping the communities that we live and serve, but why not do it with some level of fun?
Yeah, enjoy what you do.
And that's a missing element today. And you see the vitriol, you look on, we have X here, it used to be Twitter, and you look at people asking for people to be cancelled by the second because they've got an opinion that doesn't agree with yours. How crazy is that? Be informed and have your own opinion.
I think that's the worst thing that everything's evolved to online, which is if you don't agree with me, you're an enemy, and then it's wrong. But you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to have fun.
Absolutely.
I enjoy what I do. I struggle to keep up with AI and all this news that's happening, but I enjoy doing it. So I'm happy to do it.
That's why I think if you never stop learning, and there's a quote, I'll paraphrase the quote, if you don't care to learn, nobody can help you. If you're prepared to learn, nobody can stop you. And that's about AI. That's about,
Anything.
Think about it. I was old enough to be around when we stopped using the pen and paper. And one of the projects I did in the UK, I was living in London at the time, was we did Y2K, where the world was going to end, and we took out pen and paper, and everybody got a laptop. I mean, this is before MySpace, and this is dial-up. But I think you always got to, it doesn't matter how old you are, if you've got that ability to never stop learning, it's never going to hurt you. You're only going to be in a good place.
Yeah. And you also get the benefit. It keeps your brain active. The more you learn about different topics, the more connections you can make. You start getting that outside thinking from your internal perspective.
Yeah, the worst thing is if you want cognitive dissonance, just listen to yourself and your own friends. You got to get out there and get different opinions. I call it antenna management. I constantly are looking for the next thing. I'm constantly looking for what's the next technology or the next service or the next, Bitcoin or whatever it is. It's like, what are we going to do to advance? And some of the things you have to discard, and some of the things you regret you discarded. It
happens. You're not going to hit a home run every time. The way I see it is, I remember I probably saw this YouTube series 15 years ago, and I still remember it. It's called Everything is a Remix. And that's just how I interpret every idea. So the more information you have, you remix it into something new, you can connect new dots and move it to something else.
If you look at the book from Leonardo da Vinci, and you look at his helicopter, and you look at the apparatus he was designing and the spaceships, you're so right. It is a remix.
Yeah. It just keeps its ideas. It's very, very hard to have a completely unique idea. Everything is built on something else. And even if you do have something unique, there's chances are there's another person doing something very similar.
Absolutely.
That always happens. You see movies come out. There's two movies about the same thing at the same time. Or
Right.
these inventions that are coming out. Someone just beat someone to it. You go back far enough, calculus. There was two people that invented it.
You look at the telephone, you look at electric cars, absolutely. You look at spaceships, look at Bezos and Musk now and
Yeah.
Branson. They're all competing with their own version of what's going to take us hopefully into the intergalactical.
Even going back into like the thing 1500 when calculus was invented, there was two people that did it. Isaac Newton is the one that's credited with it, but there was another guy, I can't remember his name, that did it at the same time. That it's just a story that's told forever.
Right.
So
Good point.
when you're working with business, because now you've got the ability where you can have some choice and decide who to work with, what's the criteria to you to decide to get in bed with someone and work in their business and help them?
Well, I have multiple businesses. So on the Hague Enterprises side, I help owners sell their businesses. So there really is a selective pool. It's companies, founders who've looking to exit their business. They may want to sell it to family or they may want to get out. So I choose to be on the sell side. I want to help sellers, not buyers. That's what I do. I think I can resonate better with the seller. You've built something and you want to maximize your value. I understand that. I've done it many times. On the Thinking Academy, my whole mission, I've got 17 thought Sherpas who are like kind of the brightest of the bright. So the former president of Walt Disney Retail Global, the former president of The Limited, which used to own Victoria's Secrets. She also was the CEO of Chico's. And not to name drop, but that kind of stature of person. Mm-hmm. And we've together, our mission is we're not discerning, except for one thing. We only want people to join our program who are dedicated to putting the work in, Anthony. If you don't want to do the work, I don't want to do the program with you. It's a year program. We're going to commit to weekly calls. I want you to be on those calls. I want you to have done your homework because it's not for me, it's for you. It's your career. So we are trying to help people get ahead and stay ahead in their life journey, give them this foundation and then get them going. So really, they self-opt in or out. If I'm going to invest in a company, which is another avenue, we've done about 50 odd investments in the last several years.
Well,
I got to have respect for the founder. The founder's got to be somebody who is going to be listening, doesn't have all the answers, just like I don't have all the answers, but will be a sponge as well and will adapt. I think adaptability, like Darwin, it's not the strongest, it's the one who adapts the best is going to one who survives. That's just like in business. If you think about, you'll think about Shopify, you think about how these businesses started. It was a whiskey app. One was a dating app. They had a great idea, but the vision allowed them to pivot, still be very successful, but it wasn't the original idea that got them. So if you've got a fixed location, usually that's going to be a problem.
Okay, yeah, you have to be open-minded enough to understand that the opportunity may be slightly to the left of where you are, or it's a completely pivot 180 degrees behind you. But you have to be able to see that and understand that and not just be like effectively stubborn.
Yeah, and it's great. We can be stubborn. We can say my idea is worth $1 billion, but the reality is there's very few of those. Yeah. And you've just got to say, hey, you know what? It's great if it was a $10 million idea. So it's also understanding reality. You can say, you could be like Steve Jobs and want to distort reality. And he's done phenomenally well. So I'm not talking trash, but what he did for Apple is amazing. But there's only a few of those.
There's a certain percentage that have that conviction where they see what no one else sees.
Right.
That's the difference in being stubborn versus understanding that you're seeing something no one else is seeing versus not having the blinkers on.
Agreed. Totally.
So, with this big passion you have in business and helping people, what's going back into your background a little bit? What sort of got you to that position to be able to get to this? Like, what instilled that in you?
Well, I had my first book lays out kind of my life story, 15 Minutes of Shame. I won't go into all the details, but it was a really rough childhood. My mother died when I was 9. There was me and my 4 brothers. My dad married an alcoholic. We had 6 years of basically getting the shit kicked out of us every day. I left home at 15. I'm homeless. It wasn't a great start to life, but I always had an ability that I thought I was always going to be good in business. I love business from an early age. I knew that I wanted to be a soccer player if I was being truthful, but I just wasn't talented enough. So that didn't work out. I had the conviction, but I didn't have the ability. Big start, big difference. So I got into business early, and, I always wanted to be a CEO. I wanted my own company. I wanted to run companies. I read like a banshee. I mean, I'm talking just books and books and books, hundreds of books, thousands of biographies, learning from other people. It's like, I think a good guy can learn from experiences. A really smart guy learns from everybody. And a dumb guy has all the right answers. So you ain't got all the right answers. Learn from others. So, I got into business, got into learning. I started into wimpy bars at QSR, quick service restaurants, got to be a manager of Burger King, got to be a manager of Pizza Huts, went through the ranks. And I think that what got me into being a CEO is what has got me to being where I am now, and that's sharing kind of my learnings and passing it on and moving people up and helping them succeed in their life. And it's going through the same things I talked about before, Anthony. I had a game plan. Get the best talent, drive the best service, get the best sales, get the best profit. I've used it in every business I've been in. It's been a successful blueprint. It's never failed. Talent never fails. If you hire them right, motivate them right, and then get out of the way. I didn't hire them so I could do. I'm not a finance guy. Why do I want to tell my CFO how to do his job, her job? Yep. Let them get that done, but be close enough so you can give them coaching, but allow them to grow into the role and the responsibilities. So that's kind of what's kind of led me here. It's been a funny journey, from abandonment and homelessness all the way through to success, and then helping others succeed. But I'm still CEO of 2 companies. I run my own companies, and I'm still driving that train as well.
And that passion you have comes through in the way you're talking about it all. And having those 4 core pillars, I can understand how that applies to any business, because it's the general business principles. They're not specific to any industry, but having the passion there to support people and help them to help you get successful is what makes all the difference. And the way you're explaining it, it definitely resonates with what we believe with having the right team behind you.
Yeah, and to me, the greatest pleasure that I look around on LinkedIn, or you're on Twitter, or you're just in your normal business life, how many leaders have you created? That's the true legacy of a leader. Not like it's all about Des Hague and he's ran 9 companies. It was never about that. It was about mutual success. I succeed, they succeed, we all grow, and they are all getting the presidents and CEOs of many of the big companies around here. It's an unbelievable sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, because you've helped.
Nothing better.
Yeah, you've helped countless people go through the ranks like yourself and get to a level where they can start influencing others.
Yeah, they just need to send me more money as thanks. Just joking.
The bonuses get redirected.
Yeah, they're a bit stingy, if you know what I mean. Sorry, guys. You're all great. Only kidding.
Do you keep in contact with many of the people that you've helped through and who are getting to that level? Or are you just seeing them from the outside?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, yes, I do. I think that, one of the things that a leader should do is you keep in touch. And so, I have my normal inner circle, and then I have my quarterly calls, and I have my half yearlies, and then I have my yearly, where I'll touch base with people. I love it when I send something out on LinkedIn, and I got to tell you, if I went on LinkedIn today and I checked that out, I love that in every single company I've ever worked and led, there's somebody there liking and responding. Yep. That's legacy. You can't pay for that. That's earned. That's earned respect.
Yeah, I was gonna say that speaks to the respect they have for you for helping them, taking them through their journey, and how much they valued what you did for them.
And vice versa. They all helped me. I mean, I didn't just become a 9-time CEO because I'm brilliant. They all made me better. There was a lot. It was a symbiotic relationship. Thank you.
Yeah, they support you, you support them, you help them grow, and then they help you grow because then they're more invested in the business, they're more invested in the process, they want to help you and deliver the best. Because if they deliver the best to you, you'll deliver back to them.
Yeah, and there's one thing that I use, which I think is my secret sauce as well. We talked about the talent, service, sales, profit. The other one is it's like having a plan on a page. It's also in my second book, Think Your Way to the Top. Not plugging my book. Actually, I am shamelessly plugging my book. So anybody who's listening there, please reach out to me when you've read. There's 52 thought exercises to get you to think your way to the top. And what I like about the second thought exercise, it's called about our code red in life. Code red meaning massively critical inflection point is our careers. Think about it. We're 50% of our life is in our careers.
Yep.
So you better take it seriously. But if you said to most people, Anthony, what's your 5-year vision? I ain't got a clue. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like Scooby-Doo. What? Shaggy? It's like, it's unbelievable. It's like, they spend more time, and I'm not being critical. What am I doing this weekend? Where am I going on vacation? What trousers or shirt am I going to wear? Not like, what is the most important thing for you and your family is your career, because it's your earning power and it's your ability to do things and influence the world. And I call it having a plan on a page. What's the vision of Anthony Inc.? What's your objectives? What are your financial objectives? And then what are the 5 things, only 5, that you think are going to help you achieve those things? And then track it every month. And that's what I do with every one of my businesses, every board that I'm on, everybody I mentor. We go through this process. What is your plan on a page? And there's nothing more intimidating, but also awesome when it's achieved, when you see it being activated. It's a beautiful thing because they've got clarity, they've got purpose, and they've got courage and conviction to get stuff done. Which, you think about adversity, we all face it. It's either if you think you're going to win or you think you're going to go under the water and get crushed, you're right. So choose your mindset and you'll go and do great things.
Yeah. And that's a simple thing to do, but no one takes the time to do it. Well, not many, also. And
I would say it's a game changer for the people. And that's what we go through on in the Thinking Academy. If you don't understand what success looks like, how can you measure it? How do you know you're getting it? Oh, I just don't have another busy 80-hour week. Well, yippee. You should have probably worked 30 hours and spent more time thinking.
Yeah, everyone's just so busy doing.
It's like they got, this world, it's like this. I said it in a couple of podcasts before. Apologies, I forget what I'm on. But the reality is we live in a Marvel character size world where issues are coming at us faster than bad guys coming after John Wick. They're just flying back. And you've got to say, hey, how'd you get above that? Or are you just going to be bobbing in the ocean and getting dragged down with every wave? It's exhausting.
Yeah, just keeping your head above water is a difficult thing to do. And a lot of people spend most of their time in that space.
And that's why I think never stop learning and having that antenna up for better ways of doing things. I mean, who wants to do 80 hours when AI can do something in 3 seconds?
Yep.
Use AI.
Use it as much as possible.
Exactly. People said to me, well, is AI cheating for students? And I respect this person a lot, but it's like, hey, by the way, do you think Google search is cheating? It's just like, it's the next evolution. It might be, a couple of powers forward, but it's the same, isn't it? I wasn't at school when I could do Google search. I had a book that I had to read from.
Same as like a calculator. The calculator can do the maths for you, but you still need to understand the maths and how to do it. That you can use AI and it'll do it for you, but don't let it think for you. Let it get back, understand, know how to work with it, and don't. I'm in the middle of drafting out an article about don't letting it think for you only. You have to still review and add your ideas and thoughts in, As soon as you start letting it think for you, you're going to stop learning. It's
Just
gonna
like
be now
education, if
on
you let them
autopilot.
think for you, you're dead. Yeah. So it's it's another reference tool. Then you get that information, and then you have to assess it with your own brain and eyeballs.
Yep.
But getting the data is great. It's just another, okay, it's an opinion.
Yep.
Is this
Well,
true opinion, or is it absolutely batshit crazy?
You can ask ChatGPT to write your 5-year plan, and it'll take 10 seconds, and you'll get a rough plan there. Then sit down.
Hey,
and
don't be
figure out
stealing
what you
my
want to do.
idea. My think your way to the top plan on a page is better than 3 seconds of AI. This interview is over.
Sorry, but that's a good. It's at least a starting point for people who don't know what a plan may even look like. And if they haven't seen your book, you can work through that, and then you can move towards it. And
Absolutely.
it'll ask you questions and challenge you.
Right. And it's all about, and I call it antenna management. You got to be out there. You got to be learning. You got to be a student of life, and you're going to be in a good place. Just bring all the information in. You got to process it, though. AI can help you process it, just like Google can help you process it, just like your library books can help you process. And then you actually make an informed decision.
Yep. Des, just conscious of the time. This has been an amazing chat. I'm sure we could probably go on for another hour. But if anyone wants to find out more about you or find your books, how can they do that?
Well, go to deshagebooks.com. So it's my name, books.com, deshagebooks.com.
Yep.
That's where you're going to get 50 minutes of sharing. That's where you're going to get Think Your Way to the Top. You can also go to the thinkingacademy.co. That's my training program, personal development program with my 17 Fort Sherpas. I'm on LinkedIn, Des Hague. I'm on Twitter, Des Hague. So lots of ways to get to me. Yep. And I'll give you my email. It's desghague@gmail.com. Only send me nice emails about this if you're listening. I'm here to help. I hope we can. There's a nugget here that's going to help everybody. At the end of the day, how do we help people and lift them up? That's all we want. Yep. Make it a better place. It's not cliche. Just make the world a better place. Have some gravitas and respect. Lower your ego. Don't think about yourself less. Don't think less of yourself, but just think of yourself less. You don't have to think about yourself every day, and good things are going to happen.
Yeah, you're not owed anything. You need to just put in the work as well.
Earn it and pay it forward. Thank you.
Yep, definitely. It's been an amazing chat, and thank you for your time today, Des. We'll add all of that in the show notes.
Thank you, Anthony. You take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.